Is it possible that some of your child's deepest emotional wounds might be coming from you? And here's the twist, you don't even realize it. Those little everyday habits we think are harmless, they might just be shaping their confidence forever. Parenting comes with so much pressure, doesn't it? And here's the thing, none of us get it right all the time. But what if some of the habits we don't even think about are the ones leaving the biggest marks? Today I'm going to walk you through the 5 common mistakes that, if we are not careful, can leave a lasting impact on our kids' emotional well-being. Don't panic though, we will also talk about how to break these cycles and make changes that actually stay. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress, one step at a time. Have you ever stopped and thought, why does my child's frustration feel so familiar? That might be because, without realizing it, we are repeating patterns we experienced growing up. The truth? When life gets chaotic, we default to what we know. And those defaults, well, sometimes they are the very things that once hurt us. But here's the good news. Awareness changes everything. Let's look at how these patterns play out and how we can rewrite the script for good. What if every argument your child sees is a little crack in their sense of security? Let's talk about why this matters more than we think. Even the smallest disagreement don't just pass by unnoticed. Kids don't just see tension, they feel it deep down. Research shows that constant conflict creates anxiety about stability, safety, and trust. And here's the real kicker. It's not just shouting matches that leaves a mark. Even subtle tensions like cold shoulders or sharp tones can plant seeds of insecurity. If you grew up in a home like that, you know how heavy those moments can feel and how they shape how you approach conflicts as an adult. If conflict chips away at their sense of safety, what happens when discipline crosses the line from guidance to fear? When discipline feels more like fear than love, what are we really teaching our kids? Let's dig into this one. Here's the thing. Corporal punishment might stop a behavior in the moment, but it often comes with hidden costs. Fear doesn't teach kids what to do. It teaches them what to hide. And long-term, studies shows that kids raised with physical punishment are more likely to struggle with trust and emotional expressions later in life. If you were disciplined this way growing up, it can be tough to break that cycle. But breaking it means giving your kids the space to learn from mistakes without being scared of you. That's the kind of discipline that builds trust, not walls. And while discipline can sting in the moment, favoritism has a way of cutting even deeper. And the scars last much longer. What happens if one child always feels like they are in second place? Even if it's unintentional, favoritism can leave lifelong marks. Here's the tricky things. Favorite often isn't deliberate. Maybe one child's interests align more with yours or seems easier to parent. But to the other child, it's a message you are not enough, and those feelings stick. If you were the less favorite one, you know how painful it is to feel like you are always competing for attention. Catching this pattern early means you can create balance and make every child feel seen and valued. It's not about perfection, it's about mindfulness. If a favoritism leaves a child feeling unseen, neglecting their emotions entirely can be even more damaging. Here's a tough one. Are we meeting our kids' physical needs but brushing off their emotional ones? What message does that send? Emotional neglect doesn't mean ignoring your child. It means missing the moments when they need you to truly see them. Providing food and shelter is vital, but if your child feels like their emotions don't matter, they will start shouting you out. And over time, that disconnect leads to trust issues, emotional withdrawals, and even physical symptoms like anxiety or trouble sleeping. The fix is simpler than you think. A little more listening, a little more presence. You don't need to have all the answers. Just being there goes a long way. Finally, let's talk about how focusing too much on achievements might be doing more harm than good. When kids feel like their worth is tied to their report card, are we setting them up for confidence or burnout? Let's unpack this. We all want our kids to succeed, but when grades become the sole focus, it sends a message. You are only as good as your achievements. And what's that pressure? It's a fast track to stress, anxiety, and fear of failure. The track isn't to lower expectations, it's to celebrate efforts over results. When kids feel supported no matter what, they are more likely to take risks, embrace challenges, and actually enjoy learning. I get it. Nobody wants to feel like they are walking on eggshells. Parenting is hard enough without worrying that every little slip up is going to leave a permanent mark, right? And here's the thing, kids are resilient, but that doesn't mean they are unaffected. The small repeated patterns, those are the ones that stick. Think of it like drops of water wearing away at a stone over time. It's subtle, but it's matter. The good news, you don't need to be perfect. Small changes like pausing before reacting or making a conscious effort to listen can add up fast. And trust me, your kids will notice. So, how many of these mistakes hit close to home? Remember, catching them isn't about guilt, it's about growth. Each little adjustment we make now builds a better future for our kids. But here's something to think about. What if there are other parenting habits we don't even realize are toxic? The ones we think are harmless but might actually be shaping how our kids see themselves. Imagine hearing directly from the kids themselves, the real deal on the parenting behaviors they notice the most. Some might surprise you, others might hit close to home, but all of them will give you something to think about. And trust me, you will want to see what make the list. Click here to watch. I promise, you are in for a few surprises. See you there.